Man, I got tagged twice. Gotta make this video. What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another video. As I said in the intro, I got tagged. Now you may be asking me, why did I get tagged? Are we playing tag? No, I actually got tagged in this little horror tag video that's going on right now called the Killer Flicks Tag. And I got tagged by my good YouTube buddies, Jay Vaders and Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About. Basically, what this Killer Flicks Tag is all about, it's about horror movies, and you have to answer 14 questions basically about killer horror movies, slasher flicks, or horror movies in general. And if you ask me to be 100% honest, I am not a horror movie junkie at all. I have not seen many classic horror movies. Thank you, Jay and Sean, for tagging me. I'm going to answer all 14 of these questions as best as I can. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to tag 4 people of my very own. So, without further ado, let's answer these questions. Who is your favorite vampire character in a killer flick? The first question is very easily, my pick is going to be Blade. That's right, the Daywalker himself, played by Wesley Snipes in the Blade trilogy. This is not a horror movie, it's a comic book movie, but Blade is a vampire. He hunts and kills vampires. So I'm counting Blade as a vampire. I just really like the Blade movies in general. Only the first 2, the third one sucks. But Wesley Snipes, he's a fantastic Blade, and the vampire character fits perfectly. Obviously, you could pick people like Dracula, but here, Blade as a character fits the vampire word. And so, for the first question, I'm obviously going to go with Blade, because I'm a comic book movie junkie. Second question is, what was the very first killer flick that opened your eyes to the world of horror? The first horror franchise I got myself into was Halloween, the first one specifically. That really opened my eyes to the horror genre, specifically the character of Michael Myers. Michael Myers, when I was a kid, scared the crap out of me. Like, every time I hear the Halloween music and see Michael Myers' mask and him in that outfit, I just get scared shitless. The Halloween franchise in general is what really opened my eyes to horror movies, and it made me have a clear understanding of what it was. Just scary movies in general. Question 3. What's a really standout geographical setting for a killer flick? Now, I've broken this question down in a really specific way. I love horror movies that take place out in the woods, in the middle of nowhere, in a camp-like scenario, where you have a lake and you have a camp house, campfire, and then you have a creepy witch or ghost out in the woods that is haunting you. Some great horror films that defy this, like The Blair Witch Project, or 2016's The Witch, It Comes at Night. These horror movies that take place out in the forest in the middle of nowhere. That is my version of a great horror film. And of course, I've saved the best for last. Friday the 13th is the perfect example for this. Camp Crystal Lake is a very iconic film setting for a horror film, and Jason Voorhees coming out with the hockey mask, ready to kill people. Question 4. What killer flick are you embarrassed to say you love? And to be honest with you guys, I don't have an answer to this question because I'm not ashamed of loving any horror film. I've seen mostly great horror films and not really major bad ones to give an answer to. Well, the Friday the 13th movies can be considered guilty pleasures, but to be honest, I don't really have an answer to this question, but still, it's very interesting. Question 5, this is a great question. There are a lot of killer flicks out there based on true events. Do you have a favorite, and how accurate do you think that story is? I do have an answer to that question. I'm going to go with the Conjuring films. They are based on true events, based on the Warrens investigating these houses that have demons in them, like the Annabelle doll. Watching the first 2 Conjuring films scared the crap out of me, and honestly, after seeing the first Conjuring film especially, after looking up some research on it, they really did get those true events right. To perfectly answer question 5, I'm gonna go with the 2 Conjuring films. Question 6 is, What director would you like to see crossover franchises and make a killer flick? To answer this question, I'm going to go with Dan Trachtenberg, a very underrated choice. He directed 10 Cloverfield Lane. I would love to see Dan Trachtenberg tackle some major iconic horror franchises like Chucky, or Nightmare on Elm Street, or Halloween, Friday the 13th. I really like to see Dan Trachtenberg continue in the horror thriller genre. Because Dan Trachtenberg, what he did with 10 Cloverfield Lane, just making it a really intense claustrophobic thriller with John Goodman as a human monster, I think Dan Trachtenberg can continue making horror films and making it really scary and gritty. Question 7. What killer flick movie was the toughest to watch? Easy, The Shining. When I saw The Shining for the first time, it really did give me the creeps. Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance really did scare the crap out of me, and it really was tough for me to watch. It's a really intense horror film that's one of the greatest ever made. And I honestly couldn't watch it a lot of times because I was getting the creeps. Question 8 is, who's your favorite killer flick? Final girl other than Jamie Lee Curtis. Now this is, what is a girl in a horror film that really did stand out? I'm going to go with Ripley from Alien and Aliens. Ripley in the first 2 Alien films really is the last one standing against the xenomorph in the first Alien movie. And what she did as a character really did define who Ripley is, how much of a badass she really is. I thought Sigourney Weaver was phenomenal in the first Alien film, but it wasn't until Aliens where she started to kick some serious ass in an action movie film that is a horror base. So honestly, I'm gonna go with my favorite final girl in a horror flick. That would be Ripley from Alien and Aliens. Question 9 is, which killer flick has scarred you for life? Easy, the first Conjuring film. I personally remember not being able to sleep for many days after watching The Conjuring. It's such a terrifying film to watch, and it is based on such true events that James Wan did a fantastic job making it look realistic. So, The Conjuring is one of those films that scarred me for life. Question 10 is, what killer flick has the most killer soundtrack? An iconic choice for me is Halloween. The classic Michael Myers theme song. You all know how it goes. Halloween has a fantastic soundtrack in it that really is perfect for horror films today, that many horror films today don't even capture perfectly, like John Carpenter's Halloween soundtrack. It is perfect. Alright, question 11. What is the single greatest kill in a killer flick? My favorite kill has to be in Jason X, where Jason takes that blonde girl and kills her by putting her head in freezing cold water. Like, come on, that's a fantastic kill right there. I've watched that kill so many times. It's one of my favorite kills in Friday the 13th in general. Question 12. What do you think is the best performance in a killer flick? I'm going to go with Jack Nicholson in The Shining once again. What Jack Nicholson did with his performance as Jack Torrance is a really messed up guy that really is batshit crazy. Also, can somebody please tell me why he didn't get nominated for an Oscar and win? That's crazy. Question 13. What killer flick horror location would you like to visit? I'd love to once again visit the house in The Shining, because that's a beautiful location. I know it's snowy there, but come on, it's amazing. Question 14, the final question is, are there any killers from a killer flick that you sympathize with? Hannibal Lecter. Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Hannibal Lecter is the most sympathetic horror movie villain ever. What he did, Anthony Hopkins winning Best Supporting Actor, is just a very sympathetic, intelligent, crazy dude. I mean, come on, Hannibal Lecter is an amazing villain. There you have it, guys. That is my Killer Flicks horror tag right there. All 14 questions answered. I wish I could have gone a little bit more in detail, but honestly, guys, as I said, I'm not into horror as much. I tried the best that I can, but thank you so much, Jay and Sean, for tagging me once again. I really do appreciate it. Now, I gotta tag 4 people of my choice, and the 4 YouTubers that I'm gonna tag are Tyler Tompkins. I'm tagging you, Tyler. I know you have some horror knowledge, Tyler. I want to see you do a video. I'm also going to tag John from The Real Talk, Russell Howell, and Anthony DeGioia from Silver Screen Analysis. That's right, I tag you four guys. I can't wait to see your video responses. Thank you guys as always for watching this video, and if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe today for more content. Also, let me know down below in the comments section what your guys' answers are to all 14 questions. All my social media links are in the description down below. Click the notification bell on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!